Hello and welcome to The Long Couch. My name is Carl. I'm joined tonight by Mel.
Any apologies? Pardon me if I sound out of breath for the first couple minutes of this episode. I was doing, if you're familiar with the terminology, double unders just before we started recording this podcast.
Is that a sex thing?
It's not a sex thing, but good guess. A double under is a jump rope term. You know how the whole point of a jump rope is you kind of spin the rope and you jump over it?
Of course.
So imagine spinning it twice for each jump instead of once for each jump. A 2-to-1 ratio. And that's what I was doing. I was on the jump rope team when I was in 4th and 5th grade. I pioneered and sort of spearheaded the idea of jump roping on a pogo stick in my school. I was the first kid to do it. And so, I saw a jump rope. I had it in my hands. I had a jump rope in my hands for the first time in years. I can't remember the last time I touched a jump rope. And I was like, you know what? Let's see if I can still do double unders. And the answer is yes. So good day for me.
Wow, that's a Mel lore right there.
Yeah, no, little tidbit of information to sort of further the, this sort of like mosaic of ideas that make up me.
And on tonight's episode, we will be discussing the most pleasurable tier list.
Oh, okay.
So this will be our first of presumably many tier list episodes. So let me introduce it. Life is filled with pleasures, from fleeting moments of bliss to enduring fulfillment and meaningful gratification. But which acts of hedonism are best? On tonight's episode, we will be ranking pleasures from total ecstasy to I could take it or leave it. This is the most pleasurable tier list.
You texted me and were like, hey, we're doing a tier list tonight. And I was like, all right, sick. I don't want to know anything about it. I did not think that we would be doing the hedonism tier list. I mean, that might be uncharted territory. I don't know how many people have kind of ventured down that path before.
Has any other podcast ranked the pleasures of life before? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, not that I've seen, but maybe I'm not operating and sort of functioning in the same circles as some people who would watch that.
I wanted to pick a topic that was like universal, not something that we could be like, well, I haven't seen this one, so I can't really rank it, and I don't know much about this, so how am I supposed to rank this properly? This is
something that everybody can engage with.
Yes, I thought that both you and I have both engaged in all of these things, presumably at one point.
Yeah, we have.
And we can rank them on a scale of pleasure. Consider the following in your ranking. How pleasurable is it? How consistent is it? How often do you engage in it? And does it motivate you?
Okay.
So we will be ranking these based on our own personal preferences. So just because black tar heroin is, objectively very pleasurable, we may not find it so, and, we wouldn't rank it accordingly.
Okay.
So here's our scale. We've got 4 tiers on the list. We've got pure bliss. We've got orgasmic. We've got feels good. And at the bottom, I could live without it. So we've got roughly 40 pleasures to go through. So just keep that in mind 40? With the pacing.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
So we'll go through here. I have a key at the bottom as well, but I think I remember what all of these icons represent. And that being said, for all of our listeners, we will have our completed tier list posted on social media. It might even be the thumbnail for this video. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. With the first entry is love.
We're just kicking right off, huh? You know what? I'm gonna say this is my first, probably my first of many, but pure bliss, baby. Love is love. It's what makes the world go round. Love is not a guarantee in this life, but I believe that it should be. Because you need something to keep you going. You need the beauty of relation. And we're not even talking about romantic love. We're just talking about pure love that you have for somebody that you have formed an unbreakable bond with. That's something that you take for granted. But I mean, I would say it's up there. Not to kind of go over the top too early, but I think love's at the very top.
I'll agree with you.
What would we be without it?
Exactly. Love is the one of the biggest driving forces in life. And I've done many stupid and foolish things in the name of love. That's how powerful
You're romantic.
it is.
Yeah.
That's right. So we're going to put love squarely in the pure bliss tier.
I would very confidently do that.
I can agree with that. Next up, we have friendship. Something very special that Mel and I share.
Yeah. That's something that I value a lot. I would say orgasmic, and the only reason I would say orgasmic is because so friendship is kind of like it's kind of like one step below. You know what I mean? With love, it's like I love my friends, right? But there's some people that I'm just friends with. I have a friendship with, and so I think it's a less committal, more casual, less strings attached sort of relationship that you have with somebody, where it's very good to have friends. There's a lot that you can gain out of that socially, mentally, but I wouldn't quite say that it's pure bliss. It's a very good thing though. I would even say it's orgasmic.
Personally, I would probably put friendship in the feels good category because I'm very introverted. I have a very small group of friends, and I don't really seek having many friends. It's not like a pivotal pleasure that I seek out in my life. But Mel, if you feel strongly here that it's orgasmic, that it belongs in the A tier, A for orgasmic,
I could probably be swayed otherwise. Like I could maybe be convinced that maybe it's in the feels good category.
Well, let's put it there, and then if we have a change of heart,
okay,
we can rearrange these. But that gives us a good baseline. Okay, if love is pure bliss and friendship is feels good, then orgasmic, that's going to fall in between those two things.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a good one. Speaking of orgasmic, this is sex. Okay, sexual pleasure with another person. That's what this entry is.
Dude, I feel like here's the way I knew this was coming up. The second I learned the topic of this episode, I knew that we were going to rate sex on the tier list.
Of course.
You've got to put it in orgasmic, right? Like just the name alone kind of. I think that if we got love, we got true unadulterated love in the pure bliss section. I think having sex in orgasmic, sex being a facet of love in some situations, not always, but sometimes. I think that in the orgasmic category makes sense. Also, come on, that's the name of the category. That's the name of the tier.
I agree. I think the pure bliss stuff at the top in the S tier is like, you can't live without this. This is essential.
Yeah. Like that is essential to just living.
And just below that is like, this is really fucking good. And sex is one of those things, it's not essential. And as all our viewers know, Mel and I have never had sex, so we just have to speculate here.
No, we're guessing.
Yeah. I'm just, I had to assume what a woman's breast feels like. I don't know. But I imagine it's pretty good.
I would guess that it's probably better than friendship.
Yeah. And there's obviously times where you just go without sex and you can live. You can definitely get by.
Yeah.
You're not like a miserable wreck without sex, I presume. So we're going to put it.
I am not, no.
We're going to put it in the A tier, orgasmic.
Yeah.
Next up, we have cranking the hog. Okay, this is
cranking the hog,
sexual
baby.
pleasure with yourself. Masturbation. This is going to be a separate entry.
I'm going to ruffle some feathers with this one.
Uh-huh.
I could live without it. Don't care.
Live without it?
I listen, that might not be a popular opinion, and no shame on my real jorkers out there. All right? The true jorkers out there, fucking putting in the hours, putting in your 10,000 hours on that shit. I respect it, but I don't really care for it.
Listen, Mel, I'm going to absolutely disagree with you here.
Really?
Okay. I want jerking off to be in the pure bliss tier. And
you want it to be in pure bliss?
Let me tell you why.
That's the opposite of what I said.
Yeah. Let me tell you why, Mel. Okay. It's one of those things. This is one of my strongest considerations for this tier. It is good every time.
I don't even know if I would agree with that.
Okay, well, maybe not. I don't know what kind of things you got going on over there, what your sex life is like, but I can only speak for myself, okay? If I jerk off once a day, okay, it's good every time. It never gets stale, okay? I'm not like, well, I just jerked off yesterday, so like, I can go without it today. I can just jerk off every day, and it's good every time.
Are we really equating it to love, though? So hold on. So you're saying, oh, sex. You know what? Sex is amazing. It's great, but I can go without it. No big deal. It doesn't dictate my day-to-day life. and love is above that, because love is essential to living. You cannot live without that and live a fulfilling life. But we're equating masturbating to love. We're equating that pure bliss feeling.
It is essential, mentally and physically, to come. All right, that's what I feel.
I here's the thing. The highest I am willing to go is feels good on this. I see the benefit. I see the enjoyment. But in no way am I like, this is an essential pleasure to life. Like, I cannot go without this.
Not only is it highly pleasurable, but it's also good for you. It's a health benefit.
That's some mumbo jumbo, bro.
It's mumbo jumbo. Are you going to say it's unhealthy to masturbate?
I'm not saying it's unhealthy. I think it's perfectly healthy. But I'm not going to pretend that, I mean, like, listen, we're not going to pretend like masturbating is some sort of alternative medicine, some sort of, come on, how much could it really be benefiting you in terms of health?
Well, I won't say that it'll cure cancer, but, it's a good stress reliever. There's lots of studies that say just, masturbating, orgasming every day, it's good for you. There's like no downsides.
I know, but that being good for you is way different than that is an essential key to leading a fulfilling life.
If you don't come and you're just going to be pent up, you're going to be more miserable than you would be otherwise.
Listen, I see the functionality behind it. I understand how that could, could sort of take part in and contribute to leading a functional life, and living efficiently. But come on, let's not. You know what? I'll go orgasmic, but I refuse pure bliss. There's no way do I think that is
all right
on equal ground with
all
love.
Right. We will put masturbating in the orgasmic tier under sex.
This is a still disputed thing. This is in the works. This is not a final answer. This is just placeholder positioning.
Clearly, Mel and I have different standards of the amount of masturbating you should do.
I am really surprised that you got up to bat for masturbating. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you defended that.
All right. Next up, we're going to switch gears and we're going to go to having a family.
So not family as a concept, but having a family as in starting one of your own as a parent.
I would just say community, family, being a part of your own family, just like the joy of being a part of something like that.
I would probably say pure bliss. I think it's, and I hate to be one of those guys that's like, how important the family dynamic is and all this stuff, because I know that's like a big, like, sort of like alpha male white supremacist talking point. But I do think that like, kind of like there's something like intrinsic about us that sort of craves that connection in terms of like familial bonds. And I think I know that not everybody has that, but I think it's very fulfilling, and you can find family in places that are not, your blood, you kind of said like in a sort of like a community context.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those very deep familial bonds, whether it be through somebody you're related to or somebody that you have kind of like, found family in, that's like one of the most important things I think to have.
I agree. I think it's essential. It's an S tier pleasure. I love my mom. I love my family. I'm in the process of starting my own family now, and it's beautiful. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
It's something to live for, man.
So that's an S tier pleasure right there.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what like that S tier kind of is. I mean, like something that fuels the way you live your life.
Mm-hmm.
My family, the people in my life that I love, like that's something that is like that I take into heavy consideration, like when just like living day to day with the decisions I make, stuff like that.
Right.
Like when I'm making my day to day decisions and I'm thinking about how to live my life, I'm not like thinking about masturbation. I'm not being like,
All right. Next up, we've got humor. How important is laughing and finding things humorous and being humorous to you, Mel?
I would actually probably say orgasmic. I feel like humor, and we're talking humor on a broader scale here.
Yes.
Like you gotta laugh a little. You gotta, honestly, at the very least, you gotta learn how to laugh when you don't want to, because I think laughing and kind of just like finding the humor in things is almost like a bit of like an emotional release in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like without that, you're kind of like pent up all the time emotionally. And like it was kind of like how crying is like a very heavy emotional release. Like I think laughter is as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you get going with like a fit of laughter, it's just, it's something else. and just the way our brains work, and just being able to actually have humor as a kind of a universal concept, I think is very important and a big part of the human experience.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think it's very important.
We'll put this in the A tier. Laughter is orgasmic.
I'm very comfortable with laughter in the A tier, in the orgasm tier.
Sometimes I come when I laugh too hard.
Yeah, that's also another universal experience, at least to my knowledge.
My mom said that everybody does that. I thought that was normal.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got pet ownership, the love of an animal.
I mean, I really care about my pets. Because here's the thing: what I don't understand is some people have pets and they don't like them. That's weird. That's a weird thing, right? You'll see like a family, and like the family's got a dog, maybe because the kid wanted it, but the kid's already bored of it too. And so now you get this poor fucking dog who's like everyone's kind of like only okay with his presence, and that makes me so sad. Because animals are just these pure bastions of innocence, right? An animal doesn't know sin. An animal has no concept of ethics or morals, and like, it sounds a little silly, or not silly, just like sappy and a little like melodramatic. But like my pets have like done a lot for me. Like, they've really kept me grounded in a lot of situations. And I think that kind of having something to care for that is, not only alive, but sort of something that you've developed this unique bond with that you can't develop with people. Like, I would almost say that's pure bliss, baby.
Really? Okay.
I care a lot about my cats, and my cats have done a lot for me that they'll never know about.
I would probably put this in the feels good category, because obviously I love my cat, and I love living with 3 cats right now. They're beautiful creatures. And you'd say that they don't know sin, but why do my cats keep going up on the counter if that's true?
Hey, they have no concept. There's no cat Jesus. They don't know what that shit is, man.
And I feel like if I didn't have a cat or any pets in my life, I would be less happy in general, probably, but I could get by. I think I could still live a generally happy life without a pet, but it is a very nice bonus. So we will compromise, and we'll put this in the A tier.
You know what? I'm okay with this kind of middle ground compromise.
Next up, we've got giving or helping others. Altruism.
Feels pretty good. I think to some extent, like, altruism, like pure true altruism maybe doesn't exist. At least not the way we know it, because it kind of is like, you kind of like get like a good feeling from giving, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, obviously the person benefiting the most is the person in need of something receiving that thing, but like, you kind of get like, there's like, I think it's kind of silly to be like, I don't get anything out of this, I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. No, like, it's okay to be like, I feel good giving things away.
Yeah.
I like giving gifts to my friends. I like being in the bookstore and seeing like a little trinket and being like, oh, this person would love that, I'm going to get it because I want to give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a really good feeling. It's super nice. I by no means would I say that it's, ridiculously pleasurable or ridiculously important, to maintain a healthy lifestyle. But yeah, it's nice. I like giving stuff away. I like being able to do that.
Could we say this is B tier?
I would say so. Yeah, not to diminish it, but yeah, I mean, it's good. It makes you feel good, but by no means is it like an integral part of like how I sort of operate on a, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever basis.
Yeah, it feels good to make other people happy and to know that your presence is, bettering somebody else's life. It feels good to be in that position where you can do that kind of stuff. So we'll put this as a B tier pleasure.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Next up, we're going to switch gears. This is taking a piss, relieving yourself.
Fucking F tier. Fucking Z tier, dude. Listen, I have IBS, which, if you don't know, is a synonym for the condition known as irritable bowel syndrome. And it sucks. I hate it. It makes going to the bathroom a fucking pain. It's a bad time. I have to be so careful with whatever I eat. And most of the time, a trip to the bathroom, although I see the benefit of like, oh, going to the bathroom, taking a shit. That's me time. That's my alone time. I see the appeal in that, and I get that. I can empathize with that. I like the sort of, alone time that brings me. But dude, no, I fucking hate it, man. I have to schedule my like. Imagine scheduling and planning your entire day around taking shits, multiple. Like I mean, that's crazy. Imagine that dictating your hourly schedule. If I don't shit before I go to work, I know that I'm going to run into trouble down the line.
So this is not a pleasurable activity for you at all.
Fuck no, I hate it. It's the worst. How do you feel about it?
I probably would have put this as a B tier. Just the whole idea of, oh, I've been pent up. Oh man, my stomach's starting to hurt. It's like, oh, I've been holding this for a while. And then that relief of relieving yourself, it's almost worth the whole, process and the discomfort before that.
I'm okay with a compromise to the feels good, because when I go to the bathroom is when I play Tetris. So,
all right, let's put it on the low end of feels good.
Did you know that I'm the number one Tetris player in my city?
Really?
I am. That's not even a joke.
You live in a big city too.
Yeah, I'm the number one player.
Impressive.
It's the only thing I have.
Well, we'll get to playing Tetris. That's a crucial pleasure on this list.
That's a pure bliss hedonistic pleasure for me.
All right, next we have accomplishing things, reaching achievements, achieving goals.
It's important to have goals because it's kind of like the idea of like not spending your money frivolously. Like you have to be able to do that. Like you have to, if you're earning all this money, you have to be able to like, spontaneously get like a treat for yourself, or kind of spend something, buy something you didn't really need. It's kind of the same thing with like goals. It's like setting those goals are going to make all of the other hard work worth it. Earning money doesn't really feel worth it unless you're using that money for at least some things that you like to use it on, And so setting goals and being able to achieve those goals, like one, it's fulfilling. You're hitting goals, happy, fucking endorphins and shit rushing through your brain. But also, if there's a reward for your hard work, it makes the hard work feel worth it. Duh. So yeah, I would put that pretty high. I feel like without goals, you kind of feel aimless. It's like, what am I doing? Where am I going? I would say that's orgasmic.
I would say this is an S tier.
You know what? I'm okay with S tier.
Just because I believe that setting a goal for yourself, it's like weight loss, or I want to buy a house or something, and then reaching that is a driving force that people are looking for. When they set a goal for themselves, their intention, of course, is to reach it. And when you do, it's like one of the most gratifying things you can do in life.
Yeah, it really is. I'm cool with S tier.
I'll pop it up there. Next, we have working out, exercising.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna make a quick feels good argument for this one.
Okay.
It's important, obviously, and I was on a cross country team for like 7 years. At one point in my life, I went to the gym every day, so I definitely see the benefit. It's not like I'm some fucking dork ass loser who's never left his house. Like, I used to exercise every single day, and I exercised every single day for like 8 years. Listen, I think it's an amazing way to feel good about yourself. Like, all the people that are like, oh, like if you're depressed, try working out. Like, they're not bullshitting you. Like, that won't make you feel better. That's right. Like, exercising will make you feel better. Like biologically. But I don't think it's like necessary. I think it's very helpful, and I think that if you're considering trying it, then you definitely should. But I don't know if I would say it's like necessary to lead a fulfilling life.
Yeah, I've had times in my life where I did exercise every day, and I definitely need to get back onto that. So I get the hype. Like, I definitely do feel good when I'm working out, despite the pain. And exercise is not going to cure your depression, but it definitely helps. So I think we can agree this is a B tier pleasure. Okay, next up we have playing sports. Playing sports brings a lot of people great joy. How about you, Mel?
I like it. Like I said, I did cross country, so it's like, obviously, like, I was fulfilled by that, or else I wouldn't have done it for so long. But also, playing sports is kind of just, For me, at least, for some people, it's very serious. But it's like a hobby, or like it's not even a hobby. It's like an extracurricular. For me, sports is nothing more than something that I will casually do with my friends when it's nice outside.
Okay, and I never play sports. I would put this totally in the I can live without it tier.
You know what? I'm cool with I could live without it.
I mean, yeah, sure, if you're a sports fan, fine. But I definitely think a lot of people can just go without playing sports of any kind and lead a perfectly fulfilling life.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where, not to be dismissive of like the enjoyment that you can derive from it, but like it's very like if you looked at me and you said, Mel, you can never play sports again. We're taking that away from you. You
Yeah.
can never do it again. I'd be like, no, okay, that's fine, whatever.
Yeah, for the C tier here, that's what you have to consider. Like, if you were banned from doing this activity, could you still live a happy life? And when it comes to playing sports, I think we could both go without it.
Yeah, I would. Not much would change for me.
How about the next one? This is playing games. I'm talking you're playing D&D, you're playing chess, you're playing cards with your friends, that kind of stuff.
I really love board games and I really love card games, like a lot. But I would feel wrong putting that like in anything other than I could live without it. If you stripped that away from me, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
I'd be okay.
Yeah, I do enjoy it from time to time, but I hardly go out of my way to play games like this.
I don't know. I feel like I probably play board games more than the average person. You know, I'm playing One Night Ultimate Werewolf. I'm playing Ticket to Ride. I'm playing 8 million different renditions of the same card game that are just repackaged and rebranded for a different type of millennial. Like I do that.
You mean Flux?
But yeah. Yeah, Flux. I forgot the name of it, but you're so fucking right, man. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I could live with that. It's fine. It's cool.
Now, if I actually played D&D like I've always intended to do, I might say otherwise, but I still haven't got there yet. Now, next up, I'm feeling S tier on this one. This is being creative.
See, this is our hobby, so it's like S tier.
Yeah, making music, making this podcast, whatever else bullshit I do. That's the reason I even am alive and get out of bed. This is my driving force in life.
It is essential to my life.
Yeah.
I would not feel comfortable putting in anything below S. It is a key, it is a key definer of like who I am as a person and what makes up me. It's everything to me. So yeah, S tier all the way, baby.
This goes right up there with love and family. Like when I'm making a good song or something, like when I'm in that creative process, or if I get to like sit back and listen to something that I made and be proud of it, like you can't top that really.
No, you can't.
And it's a very specific and unique feeling that only a creative person can experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's a lot of people out there that don't have any creative hobbies. And like they just, it's one of those things like they can just never get it. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but that's just how it is. I feel like they just don't.
Well, even if you want to like, flip it around a little bit, they just don't need it. And we have no idea what it's like to just not need it.
Mm-hmm.
So it can go both ways, but honestly, I don't get it either. I don't fucking get it either. I don't know. But whatever. I digress.
I couldn't imagine living without it.
No, I couldn't at all.
So what about the opposite then? Non-creative, non-competitive hobbies. I'm talking about stamp collecting, gardening, bird watching, that kind of stuff.
Dude, I could live without it. It's just not my thing,
Uh-huh.
I can appreciate a little bit of mundanity, right? Like I can fuck with it. I like sitting out and doing nothing. But it's just like it's whatever. It's like I don't derive a lot of fulfillment from something like gardening, from something like less creative, I guess. Like you said, like a non-creative hobby.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get a lot out of that. So I don't really care to engage with it pretty much ever.
Yeah. I don't believe that I have any non-creative, non-competitive hobbies. So yeah, I would put this in I can live without it. This is C tier. Next, we have listening to music.
S tier, maybe.
S tier. Music is everything.
I'm not even kidding. S tier all the way. I listen to so much music. If you took it away from me, I wouldn't know how to function.
Uh-huh. As far as media is concerned, yeah, music is like the most emotionally driving thing that we engage with.
Yeah, no, I've gotten to a point where I listen to so much music that it's like very much like ingrained into everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was taken away from me, like I would that would be a harsh blow.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that would be like taking away my life. Everything.
Like discovering a new band or a new genre, it just like changes your perspective. You're like, how did I live before I even knew about this band or this genre or whatever?
Yeah. It's like, how did I go this
It's
long?
like life changing. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, I listen to 2 to 3 new albums a day. It's like become very ritualistic by this point. I don't know. It's just what I like doing, and I get a lot out of it. So if you took it away, I'd be sad.
Well, here's a little lore. My girlfriend and my roommate and I, we have like an occasional music night where we all sit down on the couch in front of the TV and we stream music videos. We just rotate. Everyone plays their song on a rotation. We can go for like an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes, just playing songs and sharing music with each other. You know, that's one of my favorite hobbies. And
Yeah,
hearing a song, hearing something new, being inspired by something, like you can't top that. You really can't.
You cannot. I agree.
All right. Next up, we've got cooking. So I didn't put this in any of the other hobby subcategories because it's kind of creative. It's kind of, it's productive. So it kind of falls in a weird middle ground. And everybody kind of needs to cook on some level to survive. So how do you feel about cooking?
I would actually say that I would actually maybe consider orgasmic. Feels good is maybe where I'm more comfortable with it being, but I would maybe consider orgasmic. I think that cooking is really important. I think you kind of get a little bit of everything out of it. Like you said, it's creative. You can have fun with it. You can try new things with it. You can experiment with it. But then also it's functional. It keeps you, food is necessary to eat, to survive. You have to eat food. But then also it is also fulfilling. It feels nice. Every meal that I've cooked has tasted better than as if like I would have bought it somewhere or if somebody else cooked it. Like it's very rewarding to know how to cook and be self-sufficient and be able to do that for yourself. So I would say it's almost fulfilling to a point where I would almost say orgasmic, but I'm okay with a feels good.
I could agree on a B tier. Feels good. I used to cook professionally, and it is something that I really enjoy. But now that I'm not working in a kitchen anymore, now I try to avoid it because it's kind of a pain in the ass. Even if I do sometimes find it fulfilling and enjoy doing it, it's kind of one of those things I try to avoid if I can, just because of how busy my life is.
That is fair. I'm like never home. I'm all over the place all the time. So that probably does keep it out of the A tier, just because I don't do it enough to justify that. And and now that you say it, also when I stopped working in a kitchen, I also stopped cooking at home.
Yeah. And if this was a more pleasurable activity for me, I would go out of my way and I would make time to do it. But I simply don't.
I definitely don't make time to.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
So we can put it in the B tier.
All right.
Okay, next we've got traveling. Getting out there, seeing the world.
A younger me would have maybe been like, I could live without it. Traveling, whatever. Seeing the world is cool, but I don't really care too much about that. Maybe a more naive me would have said that. But the older I get, the more I realize how important it is. It's not like S tier. It's not even really A tier, but I think it's pretty important, Not even like, oh, I fucking went overseas and I went to Paris. No, not even like that kind of shit. Just like going somewhere for an extended period of time, being more than 24 hours. That's far enough away to be a different environment than where you're from. I think it broadens your worldview. Like especially us Americans, we live in a really geographically big country.
Mm-hmm.
Our country is very large. And so as a result, you have all of these subcultures and you have all of these vernacular that have spawned out of different groups of people thriving in different geographical areas of the country. And so experiencing that, one, shows you how diverse your country really is if you're American, but also it just shows you just different ways of life, different things to eat, different places to see. Like when I went to New York for the first time, and I went to fucking Times Square, I was like, this is just a different world than anything that I've lived. I'm from Appalachia. It's nowhere close to the same thing. It's like a different country.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good. It's really cool to travel. But I also understand that it's a very expensive hobby as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just have very limited experience with this. I haven't left the country. I have spent very little time out of the state. And I think traveling is cool, and the times that I've been able to do it, super fun to explore a new place and to just get a new experience. But I just can't say that traveling is like a driving feature for me. I'm not saving up for my Hawaii trip or anything like that right now.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that like motivates me.
So I won't go so far to put it in the C tier, but I think we can settle on the B tier.
Yeah, I mean, like even when I went to New York, it was because somebody said, "Hey, do you want to come to New York?"
Right.
Like it wasn't even my idea.
And you may not have even bothered to go to New York had it not been for that.
No, I probably wouldn't have. I probably would have been like, "Fuck, that's way too expensive."
Right. Okay, next we've got seeing live performances, whether that's comedy or bands or what have you, anything live. Going to concerts can be very fulfilling.
See, we're kind of at the point in a tier list. We're at the point in a tier list where we have a pretty good framework, a pretty good standard and precedent has been set. And so now, instead of just being like concerts, that's an A tier experience. I love concerts. Now I'm kind of looking at what else I've rated. It's like, oh, I love going to concerts because I love music and I love seeing live performances. But is it as good as sex? Is it as good as is it as good as the fulfillment of having a pet and caring for it and raising it? No, it's not. So now I'm kind of at this crossroads where I've set the precedent and I have to deal with it now. No take backsies, lest I rearrange the entire tier list, and that would be very counterproductive. So now I have to kind of begrudgingly be like, yeah, seeing live events is B tier because it's not sex. It's not having a cat. It's not, it's not. So the precedent has been set. I've got to live with it. B tier for me.
I feel ya. I'm also like an introvert and a homebody, so sometimes it can be very difficult for me to get out. And I'm kind of sensitive to crowds, loud noises, bright lights, that kind of stuff. So there are some times where I will avoid going to see something live. Even though I'm a big music fan, it can be kind of difficult for me to see live concerts. That being said, next month, gonna go see Shinigami, Fatsy, Anxiety Attacks. I'm incredibly excited for that.
That's gonna be a good show. I will say, kind of combining this and the travel one, concerts have pretty much been the only thing I've consistently traveled for. Like, I'm not traveling a lot of places, but 90% of the time that I've traveled, it's been for a concert.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I've had some amazing experiences, going out of town, seeing a live band, even seeing music here in my hometown, like things that will just stick with me my whole life. So yeah. It's very pleasurable. But as I get older and it gets more difficult to do so, I think I could settle on a B tier pleasure.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Now we're going to get into some potential vices. So I think this is probably what you thought of when I said we're going to do a pleasure tier list.
This is kind of what I expected.
All right, first up, we've got eating.
I would actually say orgasmic, A tier. I think eating food that you enjoy and is good for you is this is just such a silly statement. I think it's kind of underrated. There's some things in life that if you have the means, and I know that not everyone has the means and access, but if you have the means, there are some things that you should not skimp out on in life. You should never skip out on what separates you and the ground, and you shouldn't skip out on food.
I want to put this even higher. I want to put this in tier
You want
bliss.
to put it S tier?
I would put it in high A tier maybe, but listen, as a fat guy, I love food so much that I disregard my own health and well-being just to eat food.
It's got to be pretty powerful to do that.
It's detrimental to my life, and still I do it. That's how good it is, and I hate it.
You know what? I'll settle. I'm okay with that. I'll let you have that one.
All right, we'll put it low in the S tier. Next, we've got getting drunk.
I could live without it. I don't drink.
I
really
could
ever.
Absolutely agree with you there.
I just don't, man. I got all my drinking out of the way when I was I'm 23 years old and I'm like, yeah, my drinking days are past me. But it's true. I got all my drinking out of the way in high school and in college, and I have no desire to ever do it these days.
I never even had a drinking phase, and I don't know if I will. I'm almost 30.
I don't know. I just don't like it. I won't get into it.
Yeah, my dad was an alcoholic. I never really got the hype around drinking. I live in La Crosse, Wisconsin, for reference. We have the world's largest six-pack. We have so many bars. We have the world's second largest Oktoberfest. I live deep in drinking culture, and I just never got the hype. I drink casually once in a while. I very rarely get super drunk, so I could totally go without it. Next up, we've got getting high. Any drugs. I'm talking any drugs here.
Also could live without it. I smoked pot in high school, and I don't anymore, so I don't get high anymore. So I could live without it because I do live without it.
I'm with you. I'm also sober in that regard. I don't do any drugs. I'm very lame. But yeah, I can go without doing drugs. It's one of those things where why can I just say no to drugs and alcohol, but not say no to food? Where's that line in my brain?
Well, here's the thing. The line in my brain is I like the way food makes me feel, or I like eating food. I hate the way food makes me feel because a whole IBS thing. But I like the way food tastes, and with getting drunk and being high, those just aren't things that I enjoy anymore. I used to enjoy them, but now I don't. I don't like the feeling. I hate how hazy and out of control I feel, so I don't do it.
Yeah, I used to smoke a lot of weed for a couple years, but I just gave up on that. It wasn't good for me. So I was just able to say, nah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And I wish I could do that with everything that was harmful. All right, here we have smoking or vaping. I'm talking about anything that doesn't get you high necessarily, but gives you that nice nicotine endorphin hit.
I could live without it because I do live without it. I vaped for a long time, and then last year, the vape that I had died, and I was like, well, good a time as any, and I just never got another one. I occasionally I'm like, oh, I miss that. I miss that feeling, but I don't really. I think I just miss the idea of it because it kind of makes you feel like shit. You don't think it does, but it does. Because you stop and you feel so much better. Yeah, I could live without it because I do.
Did you just quit cold turkey?
Yeah, like I said, the vape died, and I was like, "That's it. Okay, good a time as any." And I just, and I never had any again.
Yeah, I've never smoked or vaped or anything, used nicotine of any kind, so I am good there. That being said, whenever I do drink, I want to smoke. Is that weird? Is that a normal thing?
No, that's the most universal feeling on this entire planet.
Okay.
Is having a drunk cigarette.
But suddenly I'm like, I kind of want to smoke a cigarette right now. Having
a drunk cigarette is kind of like, it's like being in love for the first time. It's like seeing God.
I'll have to try it.
It's euphoric, dude. You'll get hooked. Having a drunk cigarette is first of all, drunk cigarettes don't count, but it's such an amazing experience. See, I always vaped, right? I vaped for 7 years, but I never had a cigarette problem. But when I would be, because I was in a fraternity in college, and so I had a fraternity brother that smoked cigarettes, and so I'd have a couple Natty Lights, a couple Angry Orchards, whatever, and I would just be chilling there, hitting my vape, and he'd be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go out on the porch and smoke," and so I'd go out there and I'd smoke a fucking half a pack of cigarettes, with him. And that's the only time I ever smoked. I never smoked cigarettes outside of those very specific drunk at a party situations. But man, it's different.
Yeah, can I just smoke 2 or 3 cigarettes in a month or something? Is that something you can do, or am I just going to get addicted? I don't know.
That's what I did. But to be fair, I was already addicted to nicotine, so I already had. I already had my main source, and that was kind of like an occasional treat.
And despite the fact that I wrote the song Friends and Cigarettes, I don't smoke. I never have.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay. All great artists embellish a little bit.
All right, next up, we've got something else I've never done. It's gambling. Now, Mel, you have more experience with gambling.
Dude, that's Dad, you just called me the fuck out. But yeah, no, when I was in high school, for a brief period of time, I had a gambling problem because of CSGO skins. I would gamble CSGO skins, and I would win and lose hundreds of dollars. it lasted a very short amount of time, because the first time that I lost a substantial amount of money, I was like, why does anybody do this? This is the worst feeling in the world. I hate this. And I never did it again. I lost, you know, it was just the first actual considerable amount of money I lost. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. And I never did it again. I could live without it. I don't even have the money to gamble. I don't even have enough money to gamble.
Right. Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
I'm out by default.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I never got the hype. I don't play the lottery or anything like that. I don't ever foresee myself gambling for any reason. Yeah, I could easily live without this. It's one of those things that it's like smoking cigarettes. It just seems like it's harmful. You're just going out of your way to harm yourself financially.
Yeah, but at least cigarettes consistently make you feel better. Like, gambling, half the time you're going to feel like shit.
Uh-huh.
Or more than half the time. Fuck it.
Okay, next up we've got drinking caffeinated drinks. Coffee, tea, energy drinks.
It's actually going to be A tier for me.
I'll put this in the A tier, yeah. I drink a couple cups of coffee maybe on my work days, and then on the weekends I just don't bother. Like, I don't really go out of my way to make or drink coffee if it's not convenient for me, but I do really enjoy it.
I love coffee. I'm not a big soda guy. I don't really drink soda.
Same.
But I love coffee. I have coffee every day.
How do you like your coffee, Mel?
Black every time.
I'm with you.
No cream, no sugar. Don't ruin the richness of the taste.
And some people don't get like that bitter is good.
Yeah, listen, man, coffee's and listen, I'm not gonna like hate on you if you want to put like a fucking 2 cups of creamer and like a half pound of sugar in your coffee. That's fine. Like I'm not gonna hate on that. But in my mind, black coffee, the rich bitterness that of the bean that makes coffee so good.
Oh yeah, I want my coffee to taste like dirt. It really wakes me up.
Yeah, I have like a pot of coffee every day. It's crazy, dude. I mean, and that's the thing.
That can't be good for you.
At first, I was like, I would actually, believe it or not, you can have like a lot of coffee before it's bad for you.
Even with IBS?
Well, yeah, seeing is where coffee is kind of like a diuretic. It does kind of fuck my stomach up, but it's actually like in my mind, like it's worth it.
There you go. That's why it's high on the list.
At first, I was like, oh, fuck, man. Like, do I have a caffeine problem? Do I have a caffeine addiction? But no, because like I'm cool without it, and I don't like soda. Like soda does not even give me close to that same feeling. I just like coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I like drinking black coffee, but I also like sweet coffee flavored things like coffee ice cream. One of my favorites for sure. So I get the appeal of both. And for that reason, I will take it up to the A tier.
You know what? Yeah, I'm very comfortable with A tier.
All right, next we have spending money.
I don't like spending money. I know that I literally just said earlier that it's necessary to lead a fulfilling life to spend money on things you like. I don't like spending money at all. No, I don't like spending money. I don't like shopping. Whenever I go shopping, I'm looking for things to get other people. I can't buy things for myself.
I've gotten better about it, but it is one of those things that I will do it to my own detriment. And I've had times in the past where I've been very not frugal with my money. But I like to think I'm getting better.
Honestly, my issue is that I'll I'll build up. I'll buy a bunch of small things. I don't make any big like risky kind of like damaging purchases. But I'll be like, oh, I'll get this little thing, and then I'll do that just 100 times.
I can go through phases where I'm just kind of like YOLO with money, like, money comes and goes, might as well spend it while I'm here. And, then I literally pay for it later. So, but how do you feel about putting this in the low B tier?
I'm cool with that.
All right. Next up, and maybe Mel, maybe you feel different about this, but this is watching porn or any sexually stimulating content.
Nah, I could live without it.
Okay.
There is no part of my life that needs porn.
Really? Because I know some guys are like, I have a girlfriend. Like, I don't masturbate anymore. And I don't watch porn. And, that's like saying I have a car that takes me where I need to go. And now I no longer walk or ride my bike because I can reach my destination just fine.
Yeah, listen, this is a similar to like the super heavy cream and coffee or like the masturbating. Like, I'm not gonna like dig on you if you like it. That's fine. Like, I don't see anything wrong with somebody enjoying it. It's just not for me.
Listen, I do like it. I have a Reddit account specifically for porn. It's great. Okay, one of the top pleasures in life is just just being sexually aroused is a pleasurable thing.
I would agree with that.
I don't even have to get
yeah.
off. Just, having stimulating, sexually arousing content, very nice, okay? I think that's like an A tier right there.
You know what? I'm not gonna fight you on it. I see the appeal. Like, it's not for me, but I understand the sort of like driving philosophy behind it, and just the source that we get it from is different, but the idea is the same.
Well, I mean, I have a girlfriend. I have a very healthy, regular sex life too. But, it's okay to like both. They're different avenues of, they're totally different experiences as far as I'm concerned.
They're different things, yeah.
Definitely. Okay. Well, we'll put that in the A tier with coffee and cat ownership.
Yeah. They're all of this. They're pretty much equivalent. I get the same thing on all of them.
All right. Next up, we have watching TV, movies, shows, visual media.
It's cool. I like watching stuff. I prefer doing over watching, but it's fine. I could kind of go either way. I love movies, but like I wouldn't put that close to like any sort of creative endeavor or just any sort of like sort of engaging endeavor. I prefer doing stuff and making stuff rather than consuming stuff. But there's a lot of movies that I really, really enjoy. And now as for TV shows, I fucking, who cares?
Yeah. It's not my favorite hobby. I do love movies, but I don't usually go out of my way to watch a movie every day. Mel, you seem like a really big movie buff. Like you watch a lot of movies every week.
I watch a couple movies a week.
But my main thing is I watch a lot of YouTube, or I just like listen to it while I'm doing other stuff. So I don't know if that counts as visual media, but I would put it higher if we consider that. But it's not my favorite hobby, and it doesn't compare to.
I mean, I would say YouTube 100% counts. I mean, YouTube at this point it's kind of like, it's silly to think that YouTube is not on the same level as like serialized television.
Well, for me, I'd say put it in the high B tier.
I'm cool with high B tier. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's so accessible. It's so easy. It's so non-committal, Well,
usually I don't like sit down and watch YouTube though. Normally I'm listening to it. Like I listen to most YouTube videos like a podcast.
I listen. Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. I listen to a lot of YouTube videos in the car. I don't even need to watch it because a lot of the YouTubers that I watch don't really require.
Yeah.
Like visuals are just kind of like whatever.
Yeah, that's most of the kind of stuff that I like to watch. And I say watch, but so that's why this is kind of iffy for me. Like I don't really watch shows or movies all that terribly much, though I do love a lot of movies. But I do listen to a lot of videos.
Yeah, I would count that as visual just because that's the intended format.
All right, we'll put that as a high B tier pleasure.
All right.
Here's one that I can definitely rank highly. This is playing video games. Now, I know, Mel, you're not as an avid gamer as I am.
I'm not. I don't really play a lot of video games. But I'm not gonna pretend like it's not a very fulfilling experience. So I kind of go through like bouts of video games where I won't play video games for months, but like if I find something that I really enjoy, then I'll play it like nonstop.
Yeah.
And so it kind of balances out to just like an average enjoyment.
Yeah, for me, under doing music, it's like video games is my top hobby.
Dude, I've been playing Persona 3 non-fucking stop.
Then you get
it. No, like, yeah, like, and that's the thing. It's not like I hate video games. I mean, I've played them my whole life. It's just, one, like I said earlier, I would rather be making something like, and video games are way more like engaging than a television show, but like, I would rather be like working on stuff, I suppose. But like, there are games that I love a lot, like Resident Evil, or like I said, I've been playing the fuck out of Persona 3. But like, in terms of like consistent video game playing year round, I just don't do it too much. But I would be very comfortable with this in A tier. I think it's very important.
Well, I definitely will die on this hill. I want it in a high A tier.
I'm cool with that, 100%.
All right, next we've got sleeping.
That's just like important. Like it doesn't even matter how much you enjoy it. It's just important.
Isn't sleeping the ultimate bliss?
Yeah, I was a little weird in high school, right? And by weird, I mean troubled. But and I'm not proud of this. This is not a brag, but I slept through school. My senior year of high school, I slept through every class, every day. I had no care to engage in school. some of the best sleep I've gotten my whole life was on those hard ass, cold ass desks. And man, when I get in bed at the end of the day, I mean, that's just like a release. It's just, listen, sleeping is a necessity. You have to sleep. It's not healthy not to sleep.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm on 2 hours of sleep. Okay, who cares? Not me. You sound like you're bragging, but it's not. I'm not impressed. You're hurting yourself. And I also have a bad habit of staying up late and waking up early.
Mhm.
But it's not something to brag about. Sleeping's good. It's important. It's nice. It's so I put that A tier, maybe even S tier. It's just because it's important. You got to do it. Like, you can't just not do that shit.
But how much do you enjoy it?
See, that's kind of where things get hazy. I
Yeah.
like sleeping. I really do. Because I used to be like, oh, I fucking I stayed up all night. No, but now I'm like, oh no, I enjoy it. I don't take naps. I never take naps.
Mhm.
But my nightly sleep, I would say that I like it.
Yeah. So this is kind of a tricky one. I enjoy sleep, but I will sacrifice it for games or for making music or something or doing other
I would rather
things.
make music. Yeah, I would rather do all those things than sleep. So yeah, now it's kind of like a necessary sort of thing. Like, I would rather stay up all night making music, stay up all night playing video games than sleep. I sleep because I need to.
Yeah.
So maybe actually I would put it lower than I previously thought.
Like, I will put other pleasures above sleep. And also, on one hand, it's the ultimate pleasure because, it's complete and total non-existent bliss. But on the other hand...
Or you could jerk off all night.
You could. But on the other hand, it's like you don't actually experience sleep. You feel good maybe when you wake up, but it's like while you're sleeping, you have no experience.
I guess that kind of, I mean, you dream.
I dream a lot, actually. I'm a very avid
dream
dreamer.
Pretty decent amount. I dream some wild shit, man. I dream some stuff that makes no sense to me. It's all abstract surrealism. My fucking dreams are like a Dali painting. It's crazy.
It's kind of fun to go to sleep and be like, what kind of strange, weird dream, like multi-part dream am I going to have tonight?
Well, yeah, nothing else is like it. It's an incomparable experience to anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, little addendum here at the bottom. You ever been put to sleep? Anesthesia?
Yeah, once or twice.
Dude, it's fucking crazy, isn't it?
It's just like instant, right?
Yeah, I mean, like how you go to sleep and you wake up and your brain kind of knows how much time has passed?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, with anesthesia, it's just instant. You close your eyes like you're blinking. You close your eyes and wake up. It's insane. It's the closest thing to death you'll ever experience. It's fucking crazy, dude.
Have you ever fainted?
I've never fainted. That's like a TV thing.
So I went to one of those trampoline parks.
No way.
And I sprained my ankle. And I went into shock. And like I got really hot. And I started like sweating and like my vision was all weird and I got all lightheaded. And so I went to go sit down. I was like, I just need to like take a minute here. And I fainted for, I don't know, maybe a minute or so. And I was doing some convulsing on the floor there. My body basically rebooted. Like I was in shock from that injury. So I needed to do a reboot. And it was a very because waking up on the floor, I was like, when did I decide to take a nap on the floor in public? Like, how did I get here? Very strange experience.
Did anybody help you?
Absolutely, yeah. That was all good. But
okay,
it was a very strange experience to faint and to not remember how I got on the floor like that.
Because I'm a middle-aged man, I've had a colonoscopy before.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a fun little tidbit about being put to sleep. So I had the IV in my arm and I was like, damn, this shit hurts like hell. Which IVs, you're not supposed to hurt. You're not really supposed to feel it.
Right.
But I was like, this hurts like fucking crazy, man. Like, this IV really hurts. And it was in my arm for quite a while. So I really had to simmer with that pain. And so after like an hour or two, I finally get wheeled into the room and they inject the shit into the IV that puts me to sleep. And they're like counting down. And they're like, why is he still awake? And I'm like, yeah, why the fuck am I still awake, man? The IV hurt so bad because it wasn't in my vein. So when they injected the stuff, I was like, that burns like crazy. And they're like, it'll burn a little bit. And I'm like, no, it burns a lot. It's because they injected it under my skin.
That's no good.
And so I was like in a very tense state. They got the IV fitted in a vein this time. And they injected it. And I was like, okay, count down from 10. 10. And then I was out, like, fucking, like, immediately.
Right.
It's a much better experience.
Okay, that being said, can we put sleep in the mid B tier?
Yeah, I fucks with it. It's just kind of like a necessary thing you got to do, but it's also enjoyable.
It is nice. Okay, next we've got being touched, just in general, a non-sexual way. Human touch.
A tier, baby.
Very important.
I think hugging your friends is nice. I think that physicality is important.
Mm-hmm.
And some people don't need it. Some people don't need that to express like anything or to feel anything. But I do. It feels nice.
Yeah. I would be very sad if I couldn't hug and snuggle with my girlfriend.
Yeah, dude. That's what life's all about.
Think about this. Getting your back scratched, it feels good every time.
Yeah, I've never had a bad back scratch.
It's one of life's greatest pleasures. Like it never stops feeling good.
Listen, I know some people might think less of me for this because you're perverts. But I go in and I get a massage semi-frequently, right? Maybe just like 2, 3, 4 times a year. It's nice. It's like, and that's more than just like holding hands or cuddling. That's like very intentionally like targeting like places that it feels good. But like I like it, man. I like the way it feels. I like it's very relaxing for me. It helps me kind of loosen up. It helps with my achy parts that fucking that running for 8 years did to me. Running for 8 years fucking did a lot of damage on my joints. Human touch is very important.
I agree.
To me.
I don't think it's controversial to say that getting a massage feels good.
Some people are fucking perverts. Like, oh, massages are sexual. No, they're not. You're just a pervert.
Right. Has toxic masculinity ruined getting a massage?
Dude, that's what I'm saying, man.
Now it's controversial to say, yeah, getting my back rubbed really intensely, feels quite good on my muscles. It's very relaxing.
By a complete stranger who feels nothing about me. Oh, how sexual.
Uh-huh.
Like, whatever.
All right, well, let's agree. I mean, human touch is definitely a high A tier. So I actually missed one from the Vices. This is scrolling on social media.
Dude, I don't like doing it, but I do it all the time. I might as well put this shit in a fucking S tier. How much I do it, how much it motivates me. I mean, my whole platform is online, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like so pleasurable that you have to go out of your way to avoid it.
Yeah, like I want to put this shit and I could live without it, but I couldn't. I do it too much. I like it too much.
I intentionally stay off of like short form content sites because I know I could get sucked in even more than I already do.
Now, here's my thing. I don't consume short form content. I really don't. I don't watch YouTube Shorts. I don't watch Instagram Reels. I don't do TikTok. But that I'm still online, baby. I'm still scrolling like crazy. And I hate it. I hate every second of it. But I'm like, this is hitting the spot.
Yeah, when you realize that you're doing it, you're like, oh, stop. This is, it sucks.
And then you don't stop, man. Listen, man, I got my screen time. My screen time on average was like 9 hours a day. And I got it down to 5 hours. And that's like, I never thought I'd see the day. I really did. I was like, I'll never get it below like 8.5 hours a day. But I got it down to 5 and I felt very accomplished.
Unfortunately, that quick little dopamine of scrolling on social media is hard to resist.
It is, man. It's so easy. It's so easy.
Can we put this on low S tier?
Yeah, I do it too much to put it on anything lower than that.
Next up, we've got being outdoors, experiencing nature.
A tier, man. Listen, dude, I love being indoors. I love staying indoors, but I also love hiking and I love being, you don't even gotta do anything. Just being outside, man. I take a blanket down to the park and I lay out. It's nice. That's an A tier for me.
I can't put this in A tier.
You can't?
Nah. I don't like outside. I don't like touching grass. It's dangerous out there.
Dude, listen, man. I get it. I love being inside in the comfort of my home. I have allergies. I can't touch grass even if I wanted to. But it makes me feel good. Makes me feel nice. Makes me feel fulfilled to be out in that sun. Now I hate when it's hot. I'd much rather it be cold.
Same. Yeah, I mean, I personally may not get it, but I think I could put this in the A tier for you.
I'll go high B tier on this one.
All right, let's go with that. Because personally, I can't go out and just walk around in the woods and be like, oh, this is so good.
Dude, I love it. It's so nice. I hate all the bullshit where it's like, oh, it's 100 degrees outside, perfect day for a bike ride. No, I want it to be 45, 55 degrees with a couple layers on, and I can just walk around like a hiking trail or whatever. Like that's my idea of outside activity.
I can agree with you there. I love fall and just being outside when it's like 50 degrees. It is quite nice, but I still don't really go out of my way to get outside and enjoy myself.
That's valid.
And maybe I should do more. Next, we've got relaxation, meditation, just chilling.
It's important, you know. I mean, you definitely gotta take a second. You gotta take a little bit of each day to just to fucking not do anything. I don't know how high I would put it, but it's important.
Being productive is better. I have a hard time relaxing.
I can't sit still, man. I have a hard time sitting still. I got a lot of unmedicated diagnoses. Like I can't sit still.
I just have that feeling in the back of my mind that I should be doing something productive right now.
I would say B tier just because it's important to relax, but it's definitely not what I'm doing.
And it can be very nice, but it's hard to even do it, and I don't prioritize it above other things.
No, dude, I'd rather be doing shit all fucking day. I can fucking do nothing when I'm asleep and when I'm dead.
All right, let's put it in B. Next, we have dancing. Many people find dancing to be a very pleasurable activity. I am not one of them.
So for a long time, I wouldn't dance in public. Like, you know, like I said, I was at a fraternity, you know, frat parties. I wouldn't dance, weddings. I wouldn't dance and all that shit. And I'm still not really a big dancer. Like, this is definitely C tier, but like, I think it's fun sometimes. Like, it's something that like, I feel like once you kind of get over yourself a little bit, like you kind of like you just like remember that like, hey, you don't need to like be good at this. You don't need to look good while doing it. I would say C tier. I could live without it, but it's fun. Like it can be nice.
The best I can do is put it just above taking a shit.
Do you like dancing?
No, not at all. You won't catch me dancing in public or private.
No, I was saying C tier. I'll say put that shit at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can live without it.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. But like by no means am I like, yeah, dude, let's.
If they strip dancing away from you, if they had a Footloose situation, you could get by.
Yeah, dude, I would not be on Kevin Bacon's side at all. Be like, fuck that, dude. Yeah, get this guy out of here.
Next, we have learning something new, gaining new knowledge.
S tier, baby.
S tier.
Yeah, man. I spend a large portion of my day, mostly in bed, just like honestly just looking shit up, man. Like so whenever like I'm having a conversation with somebody and like we're talking and it's just like somebody says something, whatever comes up and you're just like, oh, what's that? It's like, I don't know. I pull up my phone and I look it up. I don't care. I want to know. I have this computer in my pocket. I might as well use it to its best abilities. If I don't know something, I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna know it.
And it's very gratifying for you to learn something new?
It's incredibly gratifying for me to learn something new.
Okay. When I was originally looking at this tier list, I didn't really rank this one terribly high, but I do watch a lot of like infotainment content. So yeah, I do really get a lot of enjoyment out of just learning about stuff.
It's nice. It's nice to learn something
and like
new,
gaining a new skill, especially, I think can be super gratifying in life.
Yeah, that's learning.
So I think, yeah, we could put this on pure bliss. This is a big driving force for the both of us.
Yeah, man, listen, there's a lot of things I don't know.
And a lot of things you want to know.
Exactly. And I think that motivates me.
And a great place to learn is by reading a book.
Amen, brother.
How much you like reading, Mel?
Listen, man, I read a lot of books when I was younger. I read a lot of novels. And then one day I was like, hey, I'm going to try this whole manga thing out.
Mm-hmm.
And it fucked me up for years, man. I read nothing but manga for years. Like, I still love books, you know, but what can I say, dude? I put them to the side. I stopped doing it so I could read manga. I was like, I've read enough books.
I would say that counts as reading, though.
Hey man, it's a picture book. But if you say so, I'll by no means will I fight you on it. I would put it maybe even A tier.
A tier.
Honestly, I like reading more than I like watching television, because reading is kind of like, it's an interesting way to look at it, but it's kind of like on my own terms.
Mm-hmm.
I pick the pacing of how fast or slow I read something, and that kind of element of control makes me enjoy it more than watching like TV.
Well, I think we're going to have to settle for B just because you won't catch me reading shit.
Okay. All right. I can settle with that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Maybe I'll get an audiobook sometimes, but
Audiobooks are fun.
not my go-to hobby at all.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, we've got 2 more.
All right.
The penultimate pleasure is working. And this is work that you're getting paid for.
I would actually say A tier. It's like a very, very necessary evil, but it's also very fulfilling. Like if I was financially secure, never had to work again, of course I would take that opportunity. Who fucking wouldn't?
I wouldn't.
However, working, like, it's pretty fulfilling, man. Like, the times that I've not worked, I feel like shit. Like, I feel like something's missing. I feel like I haven't done something that I need to be doing. I would say working's A tier, just because like my monkey brain needs it, like biologically.
Yeah. Fortunately, I have a job that I really enjoy, and I can be a bit of a workaholic just in general, like with personal projects and stuff. I always want to be productive, so I do feel very good at my job, and I enjoy working. And I feel like, yeah, if I won the lottery tomorrow and I didn't have to work, I would probably want to continue working, or I would invest my money in a way where I can be like engaged in some kind of project, or I'm working in some way.
Dude,
still.
Not me.
I can't live a life of leisure.
If I won the lottery tomorrow, I would never even consider working ever again.
If I have a 4-day weekend, I start to feel like a piece of shit.
Dude, listen, man, I make my own schedule. That's a dangerous thing. I can never go back to a normal job again.
Uh-huh. And very last, what some might consider the opposite of pleasure. This is pain.
No, I don't want to
feeling pain.
You're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get me with this tricky, subversive, it's actually good bullshit. I don't like it.
Listen, Mel, do you like working out?
The only thing pain does is tell me when I need to fucking like check myself. I don't like it.
Pain is very important in the
dude,
human
that's
experience.
Not a pleasure though. You're not gonna pull this subversive thing on me. I'm not gonna agree. I'm not gonna fall for this.
You don't have any kind of masochistic tendencies?
Pain is important, but it's not pleasurable. At least work is kind of pleasurable, not pain.
So when you're doing a workout, or you're doing like cross country or whatever you used to do, you didn't get any good pain out of that?
I mean, soreness. Would you count soreness as pain?
Yeah, if you were like, I feel really accomplished, or like while you're running, you're like, oh, this is like, I'm struggling, and
like, what about?
I feel good about pushing through this.
I know, but what about like when I get like a tummy ache, man? Like, I don't like it. I would sacrifice the pleasurable pain of feeling sore after a workout if I didn't have to get like a stomach ache ever again.
You could live without it then?
I could 100% live without that shit, man. I got a stomach ache one time in my junior year of high school, and it hasn't gone away. I've had it ever since. So, all
right, we'll put that.
I'm done.
We'll put that at the bottom then.
Yeah.
On the list of pleasurable things, pain is at the bottom, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, you're not gonna get me with that.
I don't know. I was kind of hoping you would say, actually, you know, like on the weekends, I love to get whipped.
Dude, I'm a huge fucking masochist, man. Yeah, just chains
and whips. Good for you, Mel. Yeah, it's good. Good, you know what you like.
You're just trying to get me with it. You're trying to learn something new about me. You're trying to set me up. I'm not falling for it, though.
Okay, and that concludes the most pleasurable tier list. Yeah, no one can disagree with this. We've got the objective facts on what is most pleasurable in life. I think we laid out a pretty good argument.
Yeah, dude, look at all these things that masturbating's better than.
Okay, on that note, we'll see you next Tuesday on the next episode of The Long Couch.
See ya.
Bye.